Buffalo is going to win it, folks.
The Bills make it run. Kick your heels up and shout.
Let's see why the Buffalo Bills are en route to the playoffs.
Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout.
Buffalo Bills go undefeated. And we're going to the Super Bowl.
Right
Yeah.
now, baby. Come on, come on.
No one
Come on
circles the
and
wagon
shout.
like the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Okay, and we are live. We are live. We are live. We are live. And we back. Listen, we back. We back. I know we've been on a little hiatus, but we here now. We here to stay. And we appreciate y'all for sticking with us. We know, a few of y'all coming in right now. It's probably gonna be a lot of y'all, watching a playback. So shout out to y'all who watched the playback of the video. But yes, we are here, and this is our pre-draft show, Overdue Bills pre-draft show. For the Bills, the draft is coming up Thursday, April 29th, and we're excited. Like this is where the rubber meets the road, pretty much for the start of the season. And
Sure.
I'm happy to have my guys with me, my man Matty Ice, aka Matt COVID, aka Matt the Scammer, aka Matt, he's back. Matt, what up though?
Not much, man. I'm chilling. I'm ready to talk some draft. I was actually just in Cleveland on Saturday. We went to the Yankees game, and they had the whole they're getting ready for it. They had the banners for all the teams on the main road and had the helmets out next to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It was pretty cool. So it's exciting. I'm ready.
And my man, y'all seen, looking real Hawaiian. You know what I mean? Shout out to my guy, Rad, a.k.a. All Purpose Rad. Rad, what's up with you, man?
Man, I'm ecstatic, bro. I can't wait for this season. I can't wait for this draft. It's the first start of what we going, for a great season, I hope. You know what I mean? So, Bean been having great drafts, so I just can't wait to see what he gonna do next and keep it pushing. Let's get this season started.
Absolutely. And before we get into the particulars of this particular episode, Matt, if you can let the people know this year who we sponsored by.
This year, the guys are back, man. They did an amazing job with us last year. This podcast is brought to you guys by none other than Buffalo Wing Kings.
Run it back.
There's two things that the guys here at Overdue Bills podcast know. That's football, Bills football, and that's wings. Now Wing Kings is Wing Kings is Wings 101. They, with over 101 different flavors and a beloved Wing of the Month special, they're sure to school all the other wing places around. They're open now. They're doing a soft opening. I know everybody's been asking me, hey, when are they going to be open? They're doing soft opening. They've been open every day for like the past week. So definitely go and get some of the wings. They're located at 484 Elmwood Avenue. Give them a call now, 716-248-1427. They're going to be opening up another spot on Main Street this year, but they're open now on Elmwood. Definitely go give them a call and find out what they say. And we know they got the best wings in town, hands down. And make sure you mention our name. You could drop our name. This is about the only time we'll be happy you drop our name. You go get that 10% off your order. At any order, they'll be happy to take care of you. Call them up right now. Get some wings.
Absolutely.
Definitely get some wings for the draft too.
Absolutely. Get some wings for the draft. Shout out to Wing Kings. Our presenting sponsor this
Shout out to
year.
Wing Kings.
You know what I'm saying? They wrote the check. Shout out to them, man. That's all I can say. We appreciate them. For sure, we appreciate them, for the love that they showed to us. All right,
Definitely.
all right. Listen, let's get a little bit of housekeeping. If you on right now, let me know where you on from. If you in the city, let me know what part of the city you from. Put it in the comments. Let me know what part of the city you listening from right now. We want to see the fan engagement in the comments. But we want to give you our schedule because we know we took a brief hiatus, but we back. And we wanted to give a pre-draft show. We didn't want to be redundant, give you a whole bunch of shows with no news. So we wanted to give you a pre-draft show. And then next Monday, we're going to, give you the official draft show with all the picks, all the trades, all the great things, that happened, this weekend. And then moving forward, even through this offseason, we got some great interviews lined up for you. You know what I'm saying? We got some great podcasts some great podcasts, some great, whole bunch of stuff. So just be on the lookout. And let me tell you this. Go to OverdueBillsPod.com. Please go to OverdueBillsPod.com. Our guy, Mikey D, just put out an article today. Fire article, you know what I mean?
Fire.
About, how he feel about the draft. So go there right now, OverdueBillsPod.com. You know what I'm saying? It's fire. Go read your articles. Go read everything there. You know what I'm saying? We got the website up. We hitting them.
And go pick up your local Challenger because my man Mike is the leader for the sports writer for the local Challenger. Shout out Mike D, man. Lead writer of Overdue Bills, man. Shout out to him.
Listen, we making moves. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the press passes that will come. But all right, listen, we still got a little bit of merch. A little bit of high school. We got a little bit of merch. If you want to hit us up on the Facebook, get your merch ready for the draft. Let us know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see the new hats. You know what I mean? Coming to you real soon. Listen, we got some things in the works coming to you real soon. But listen, be on the lookout for those things. But let's get into this show. I know y'all eager. I know y'all ready. Listen, let's get into the show. And y'all know how we do this. Quick question of the day. I need to know this. And I'm only going to do the last 5 years. For those of you who've been a longtime Bills fan, longer than we've been alive, you can give me those answers if you want to. But I want to do the last 5 years, last 6 if you want to get jiggy. I want to know the worst Bills draft pick and the best Bills draft pick in the last 5 to 7 years. You know what I'm saying? Worst and best. I got a few. I know my man Matt is ready. Matt, I need to give me your worst. Matter of fact, just start with your worst. Start with your worst.
The worst, man.
Come on,
man. I'm gonna let Rad go first, actually, because I'm actually stumped in the last. I know the best, obviously.
Listen,
the worst.
I got a few. It's I had one in mind, and then because I thought we were doing like 10 years, and I was gonna say one that we had and that we met. He was the worst.
Oh, Aaron Maben?
Yes. Yes.
He's terrible.
Yeah, so that's where I was lined up to go. Then you said the 5 years. I kind of like, oh man, I had to think back for a second. Okay. But I'm gonna go with Aaron Maben.
Lot. I mean, you could have definitely hit your boy Zay Jones because he was terrible. But we're gonna let that one go because that's still your guy, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Rat is frozen.
Yeah, he's frozen.
So I don't know what's going on. Rad is
having some technical difficulties. Yep.
Listen, he may really be in Hawaii. We apologize for that. But listen, let me say this real quick. I'll probably say I got a couple. I had Zay Jones on the list, 2017. I got Reggie Ragland, 2016. Rad, you was frozen, so I'm gonna give mine. But you're gonna come back with yours. Reggie Ragland, 2016, god awful. I had, even though it was 2014, I had Sammy Watkins. We traded up. He was god awful for us. Only had one good season. And I think, and Matt is gonna be mad at me. But I'm gonna say it anyway. AJ Ebenezer. Like, I don't know. I think
it's too early. I think it's too early. Yeah. Okay, I think it's not about being mad. It's just too early. There's not enough tape.
Well, I've seen a lot, and I didn't see anything. But Rad, you can tell me who you going with. So you got Jay Jones?
I mean, I'm cheating right here. I'm just going every quarterback we drafted until Josh Allen. They all were bad. And they're all
Peter.
All of them. All of them were not good. You know what I mean? EJ wasn't bad. He was bad, and we picked him out of nowhere, which kind of like whoa, we going with EJ? Okay, let's rock with it. We kind of went with it, but it wasn't a good pick. So all those quarterbacks we picked, all of them. JP Lossman.
Yep.
Edwards, all of them. Just keep going. All of them were bad. So yeah, all the quarterbacks.
Yep.
I tried to do the last 5 years to keep it kind of, in this context and kind of in the range of the Sean McDermott, Brandon Beane type of, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
Okay. If you want to do that, then it's Zay Jones for me. We moved up to get him. He was the league catcher in college football history, and he learned and he forgot how to catch in the NFL. He got to the NFL and forgot how to catch. So he's terrible, and we moved up for him, and he still haven't made real noise. So yeah, I think that was a bad pick. And the wide receiver is hard. I'm not saying it's hard to get a wide receiver wrong, but wide receivers have been hitting, especially just been wide receivers. You just find them anywhere, and Zay was just not what we thought he was gonna be.
No, No, he definitely for what he was in college, he didn't translate at all to the NFL, at least for us, and it's not looking like he's going to for the Raiders either. So
He's trash, but that was the worst. Let me hear the best, Matt. I know you got. I think I know where you're going, but so let me go.
well,
with Matt.
you got to go with Josh Allen. You have to. I mean, just it's in that time period, you have to go with him. He's the best. He's the guy. He's the guy we've been waiting for forever, and you just have to go with him at this point.
Low hanging fruit, rat.
Mm-hmm. Easy.
Yeah, he said Josh, but I mean, I can go Trey White. All pro, all pro guy, Pro Bowl guy. A cornerstone on our defensive side.
Yep.
Our lockdown cornerback. So I mean, he went Josh. So I'm gonna just go Trey White just to to switch it up. But I think Trey White is definitely a stud. We traded back to get him, right? We moved back a lot of spots to get him, and so yeah, shout out to Trey White, man.
I still think that's low hanging fruit. I mean, clearly we drafted Josh Allen to be that. He was drafted high for that reason. Not to say that they always gonna work out, but that's what happens. Trey White the same way. He was a first round draft pick. He was actually supposed to be good.
So what? Not 27?
Well, I mean, are we asking who's the best or who's the biggest steal? That's where I feel like you're waiting for you're going for a low draft pick. That's been because you're saying low hanging fruit.
Round draft pick. That was that was one of the best. We just
so I'm saying you're saying a steal though. I'm saying that
he steal. He wasn't. It's not a steal. We just drafted.
I know. He was a better draft pick than Josh Allen or Trey White. Or Trey White.
That's insane to say.
Josh Allen was expected to be good.
But
not only him, Teron Johnson, he won us a playoff game. He legit won the game for us.
They were great picks. That was a great pick.
I'm just saying.
But to say that they're more important than Josh Allen is kind of
important. I said they was the best pick. I said they were better picks than him.
Okay.
I just feel like that Josh Allen was expected. We drafted him.
No, he wasn't.
But he was he was a top 10 pick. When you draft somebody top 10, you actually expect them to be great. No?
Yeah.
No, not necessarily. I mean, not expect them to be great. Maybe expect them to be. You want to be a Hall of what do you mean?
10 pick?
You
draft somebody.
You get a top 10. What are you talking about? I'm saying somebody get drafted in the top 10 pick every year. That don't mean you expect them.
And you expect them to be great. That's the whole point of them being drafted that high. That's the whole point of the draft. Listen, we're going to get on into the arguments. We ain't got to argue about that because that's what just happened.
You asked us who we thought it was, is what we said. It's not
And I just said low-hanging fruit, but that's neither here nor there. Let me do this because we got a new segment alert. And for those of you who want to sponsor, this could be this. It could go right here. Boom! It could go right here.
We got a couple people coming in the season. You guys will notice this year we got some businesses. They're gonna have their segments. So if you're interested in having a segment, contact me and we'll get it in play
right here. But listen, new segment alert. This is our therapy session. We're not gonna spend a lot of time on here, but this is our therapy session, and this is what I want to do moving forward. I want to look at the quotes of players, obviously Buffalo Bills players, our GM Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott, coach, you know what I'm saying, even Leslie Frazier, Brian Dable, you know what I'm saying, just the whole staff in general. We're gonna look at quotes, look at things that they're talking about, and we're gonna have a therapy session. We're gonna dissect it and really tell you what they actually mean when they said these things. First things up, press conference, Brandon Beane on the draft. And the question was asked about, the fifth-year option between Josh Allen and Tremaine Edmonds. And Brandon Beane's response is this. He said, we're going to wait until after the draft to figure that out. We've had some discussions, but really that will be front and center as soon as the draft is done. The hard part this year is the cap has gone down, and we don't know exactly where it's going to be next year. Probably not a huge increase. Josh's number is $20 million because he was a Pro Bowler. He says since Tremaine was in a couple Pro Bowls, his number is at $13 million. He said you can't really be flexible with those cap numbers. So let me ask you this, Rad, and I'm gonna go to Matt. What is he actually saying? Is there a deeper thing that he's trying to get at here when he gives us these numbers? Telling us that the cap, may not be a huge increase. Things are a little shaky. What is he really saying?
I mean, I think Beane just trying to do his best effort of being transparent. You know what I mean? Not trying to speculate or have some people saying who you gonna pay, who you not gonna pay. Let you know what it is, and let you know right now the number one thing is the draft. Let's draft these players up, and then we're gonna worry about that. After that, that's gonna switch to our number one priority after that. But yeah, I think he's just being transparent there. I mean, it's just he's just being factual. He just letting you know what it is. There's no need to speculate, and that's what I got from it.
Matt, how you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's, as you say, low hanging fruit. I'm gonna piggyback on that. I mean, there's no, he's not gonna throw anything out there, for their agents to eat up, or to make a bigger headline. You know what I mean? He's doing the political thing, I think, right now. I don't think there's anything deeper to dive in on that.
I think he's telling us that Tremaine Edmonds is on the chopping block, but that's just me.
I don't think so, man.
That's what I don't know. Y'all may not see that, but that's what I'm
unpopular opinion. I don't know.
Well, I'm just telling me, and what in that quote made you say that? Just tell me that in that quote. I mean, that might be true, but I want to know what in that quote made you say that.
The reality is, we're going to sign Josh Allen. There's nothing to talk about. Like, I mean, he's going to get as much money as we possibly can give him. But Tremaine Edmonds, he said that he it's funny how he said it. He said, he went to a few Pro Bowls, you know what I mean? His number is at about 13 million, but we don't know. We know it's not going to be a huge increase in the cap, which says to me, I mean, if you don't have that, if you can't show me that season again, that Pro Bowl season, then we don't need you anymore. We're not going to pay you $13 million. Just pay Matt Milano. That's just what I read into it. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm going too far into the therapy, but that's just me. But moving on, we can move on. That's fine. That's what you do in therapy.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it.
We can move on. Okay, they asked him a question on the possibility of trading up in the first round. Tell me what he's actually trying to say. I'm going to go to Matt first. He says, if there's a guy on our board, hypothetically speaking, there's a guy 10 spots away at 20. We're going to man this guy. He said, we're going to hope this guy really fits us. He's everything we want. He's going to make a big impact. And long term, you'd have to talk about it and see what it costs. Obviously, you'd have to have a team willing to make that move, with you. We won't be afraid to go up. We won't be afraid to pick at 30. If we get to 30 and we go, man, we think we can get a similar player going back, and someone is fired up for the pick, then we listen to that too. Matt, what is he really trying to tell us?
I mean, I think he's just trying to throw it out there that he doesn't really care if they stay. I mean, obviously they are comfortable with who they think they can get at 30. I think there's a handful of guys they can get at 30. I don't think you have to move up in this particular draft, because this, you just don't have to. At that, this kind of like we're in a luxury point that we have not been in forever. So I think that's kind of what he's saying is, hey, if we love a guy, we'll talk about it, and we will give up a little bit more to move up. And if there's somebody fired up to get back in the first round, we don't have a problem picking on day 2. And if we get to 30, we have a list of guys that probably will be there, and we will pull the trigger on the best one that we want.
Brad, what is he really trying to say?
For me, I think he just letting y'all know that he willing to will and deal. You know what I mean? He not stuck in no position, no scenario is going to, move him off his spot. But ultimately, I think he's pretty much letting teams know, which they probably already know, that he's open for business. Yeah. You know what I mean? Come if you want this pick, come get it. If you want this pick, I'm good. I'm willing to. And I picture at 30, at 30, that's a prime move back spot. You know what I mean? It's just those players usually grouped in the next 15 to 20 players are usually so close in grade. So, I think he's just willing to will and deal, and he probably will.
I like it. Brandon being flexible, right? And Mike talked about it all the time. We want our GM to be flexible. We don't want to be set in stone to one particular thing. And I think he's, with this interview, and we're going to move on to kind of draft strategy and what we're going to, who we like and who we don't like and so on and so forth. But I like Brandon Beane going into this. He's not necessarily locked in on one player or locked in on one train of thought. Let's see where the chips, fall. Let's just see what happens. Yeah. Let's see what happens before us. Because the realistic, you can have your couple players, but who knows what's going to happen in the draft? That it's
who knows? Yeah, exactly.
But we can move on to the nitty gritty. This is what y'all want to be here for. We don't really want to stay on here all day, but we do want to talk draft strategy. And I know they have these versus battles going on, and I kind of wanted to put Matt against Rad, in this with at least this first generation,
like a Kuiper and McShay.
Yeah, this draft strategy. Yeah. And kind of the big thing that's been going on, or the big thing that people have been talking about, is this idea of drafting need or drafting best available, right? That's kind of been a huge contention, throughout the years. Like, should you draft based on need or should you draft based on best available? And Matt is going to take need. Rad is going to take the best available approach. So, Matt, if you're going to take need, if you can explain the needs of the Buffalo Bills, you know what I'm saying? And you can give me 2 players that kind of fit that need mode at 30.
Okay, so we're gonna go on need. For me, our number one need as far as another player that needs to come in and play every game and get in every snap, I think we have to look at the corner position. That is one area of need for me. And for there, I like at 30, I think we have Asante Samuel Jr. I think Bean went to look at him twice at Pro Day, and I believe I like him a lot. And then there's other guys that are in the mix, like Newsome from Northwestern, and there's the guy from Syracuse. I'm gonna butcher his name. It's like Ifu Wetu or something like that.
Yeah.
Those type of guys, they can come in and play right away, I think. And also, you just don't know, like with Levi Wallace, I think is going to be our number 2. But you kind of want to get a guy who can come in and be that just, everyday guy. Also, the linebacker position, right? We mentioned Tremaine, we mentioned Milano, and then after that, you got AJ Klein, right? So if one of those guys goes down, who are we looking at down the list, right? So I think you gotta look at a guy, and then another guy, I'll butcher his name, from Notre Dame. I'm gonna just call him JOK. That's the acronym for his name. I know he's been mocked to us a lot.
Yeah.
A guy like that, he can come in and he can play right away, I think. So those are the 2 areas of need right away. I know people love the running back right now. A lot of mocks, they love ETN, but those 2 positions, I think, for sure.
Okay, Rad, and Matt kind of touched upon it, right? Because you're taking the best available approach, and some may suggest that ETN is maybe the best available player there. Some may suggest that. You know what I'm saying? There are a couple, a few players that, they may say, may fall to us. But why is it a better strategy to go best available? And if we did go best available, say in the first round, who would you key on? That's kind of like falling in that range.
So for me, I typically lean towards best available, because they are, the best available for me always can be an asset. You know what I mean? Even if, before you play a game, somebody else could have possibly wanted them, and you can still pull a trade off. But boom, boom, boom. So it's rare that a player's traded before he even played for a team, but it's possible. So having an asset, of just having the best player that other people will want, compared to just a player that you would need at that position if you overdraft him. I think having the best player always, far as the asset side of it, and other teams who will want him, I think that's the smarter thing to do personally. But somebody, I would like to go defense in the first round if we stay there. Ultimately, I don't think we're going to stay there. I think somebody gonna move up, maybe to get that running back. And if we do want to get that running back, I think we probably maybe have to get in front of like a Pittsburgh Steelers, you know what I mean? Maybe a Jets who might go after ETN or a Najee Harris or whatever. But my dream player, he moving up draft boards now, but it's like Jalen Smith, the edge rusher from Miami. He was a stud. He was a 5-star coming out of high school. He got hurt. Yeah. Jalen Phillips. Yeah. He got hurt. Yeah. Then he went to Miami. So that's my dream guy. But he moving up boards. He projected to go in the top 20 now. He was, so if somebody like him fall, I'm good with staying in the first round. But ultimately, I just want to trade back and get more picks and get more crack at the wheel.
Okay, and we're gonna talk about what we think the Bills is going to do. We want to kind of look at the first 3 rounds and give some sleeper picks. But let me, if I could push back a little bit. Matt said Asante Samuels Jr. Matt, do you know his 40 time offhand?
I don't. I think he ran like a 4.5 or 4.6. It wasn't nothing blazing. No,
it wasn't. And my only issue with that is I think he's about 5'8", and
like is that?
Yeah, I understand that, but some people suggest that he does not have the skill and the mechanics on pack, which you can grow into that. But for me, if we're going to draft somebody like that based off a need, at the 30th pick, for me personally, I want a short thing because Tyron Johnson came on strong, towards the end of the year. Obviously, we have a hole in Levi Wallace, but we do have a nickel cornerback in Tyron Johnson. Or at least he's not bad. You know what I mean? He's definitely serviceable. But my only issue is for a guy like Asante Samuels, sometimes we had an issue with covering the tight end, right? The Colts exposed us. So should we go like a really great linebacker at that position who's versatile, who can, cover as well as tackle? Because obviously AJ Klein cannot do that at all. You know what I'm saying?
He came on towards the end of the year for sure.
All right, Matt, AJ Klein cannot do that. So, do you think the guy? I think they have it mocked to us, pretty much in every draft. Zaven Collins is he the guy for us? Can
Tulsa.
Yeah, I think he's great. He's athletic. He's super athletic. But I didn't expect him to be there at 30. I think when you get down to like that end of the first round, I think people was moving up to get those guys who fit a certain mold or fit a certain scheme or gonna help a certain position. So at 30, I don't think we there. I don't think he falls to 30 personally. If we want somebody like that, I think you got to move up to get him. I could see him going to like a Tennessee. I could see a lot of teams getting a versatile, fast linebacker like that. And at 30, I'm just not confident that he gonna last there. But if he do, I will love him. I will love a fast, athletic linebacker, of course.
Yep.
Why not?
Okay.
Especially watching what the Buccaneers did with Devin White and Levante David, like they're like probably the best combo linebacker in the league, and it's honestly because of they stay honestly great, but it's their speed. Their speed to the ball is is the best in the NFL. So I definitely want something like that. So if he can help me in that area, man, for sure.
We'll see. It is obviously the mocks are the mocks. Some people were saying that the guy from Northwestern, Greg Newsome, is going to fall to us. The cornerback. I'm just saying that's what they're saying. It's all up in the air. And if you weren't here, I see it's a few of you watching there. Let us know who you think we should grab. And I'm going to ask you guys this question. We kind of gave some of the people, or at least in the first round, let's talk about who you think the Bills is kind of leaning toward as far as, seeing, what we've been doing or kind of what we've kind of been looking at. Matt, do you have a read, and I know we're just throwing darts here, at where the Bills, kind of, will probably go just based off past history and things of that nature?
Well, we've been falling in love with the defense, right? So I think we have, and I also think we brought in guys on the offensive side of the ball, on the offensive line, receiving core. We didn't bring in any to that. Another thing, could be thrown in the mix. There's two guys that we could just give up our picks for give up 34, and they're floating in my mind right now. Obviously, one is Zach Ertz. We wouldn't be giving up. We give them 30, take their 37, and keep our 61, right? Mm-hmm. So we don't go too far off by taking a Zach Ertz, right? Or there's another guy that's been floating around, David Njoku, right? It could be a guy that we trade back for. So no, I really don't have a read on it, but I definitely think we're gonna go defense. It will be very surprising to me if we went to the offensive side of the ball.
Right. Yeah, wholeheartedly, I just don't think we're gonna pick there. I think we're moving back. Mm-hmm. I think the people that we will want is probably gonna go a little bit above us at 30. I can see us going backwards and try and just getting the best available pass rusher, whether it being the guy out of Georgia. Jewelry, I don't know his name, or Carlos, or the guy from Wake Forest, Carlos Basham Jr. He's looking good too, high second round pick. So I can see it. I really honestly think we're gonna move back, getting a couple more picks, and if we somebody we like, we'll move up in a second round and go get him again. But I think we're moving back out of the first round more than likely.
No, I'm with Rad. I think. What I've been hearing is
here
that
is Little Caesar's thin crust.
We probably will move back.
For just $6.49, that can't be right.
I think the Cowboys have been linked to us. The Cowboys have multiple picks, I believe, in the third and the fourth round, if I'm not mistaken.
I've seen Atlanta. I think I've seen Atlanta.
Atlanta has been linked to us. The Cowboys, may want to move up, and they have to go cornerback. They want to get one of those top tier cornerbacks, maybe Asante Samuels Jr. or Greg, you know what I mean, Newsome, like one of those players. The Atlanta Falcons. So I personally think at 30 is looking like a move back because Rad is right. Like in that tier, there's a lot of players that we can go after. There's a lot of players that we can go after. But I want to ask Matt and I'm gonna go to Rad. Matt, since we want to look at these first 3 rounds, Matt, can you give me a second round pick that you like, a second round pick player, and a third round pick player that you kind of like? Okay, these are value picks for us at this position because let's be honest, this is uncharted territory.
Yeah.
30 is not what we do as the Bills. So I mean, we're kind of like in a totally different spot. So Matt, who are you looking at
So I'm gonna give you 3. I know second round I like either the corner from Syracuse. I can't Ifeanyi, I believe his last name is. I like him in the second round. Or if we want to get a guy who kind of Kyle Pitts stole his thunder from being the best tight end in Florida, but Brevin Jordan out of Miami is an animal. I love him as a second rounder or even a third rounder. Then those two. Then a guy we got to see a lot, who's right in our own backyard, who's actually skyrocketing up a lot of boards, maybe in the third or fourth round, is Malcolm Kuntz. He's an edge rusher. He's been our number 1 defensive end for the past couple of years. He led the MAC in all, tackle for loss. He's got all the intangibles. He's like 6'5", like 265, like he's just a freak, man. So he's getting a lot. I know Mel Kiper had him going in the second round in one of his mocks. So they think that highly of him. So I wouldn't mind him. He's right in our own backyard. I'm sure he's right on the radar.
Yeah, I honestly, I was gonna go with Coons because he played for UB, but also I like a tight end. I said my linebackers that I think we gonna draft back for earlier, but another tight end that I think we can grab in this third round is like the tight end out of Notre Dame, Tommy Tremble. Yeah. So I think somebody like him. He can help us too, but I want a tight end. By the third round, I definitely want a tight end to upgrade that position. So hopefully we do get a piece for Josh Allen and just somebody just can help compete with Dawson Knox. So I'm looking for a tight end by the third round.
For me, in the second round, I don't know what we're gonna do with the first round pick, but if we do move back, which I'm fine with. Cornerback from Georgia, Eric Stokes. He ran a 4.3. He's fast, and he was good in SEC. SEC is great competition. Obviously, he had to play. He had 4 interceptions. I mean, he's kind of slated at like 10. But when you talk to or when you listen to the aficionados on this, they say like after Asante Samuels Jr. and probably him, it's like the tier above him is like I think 4 corners, and then under that they all kind of mesh in that whole range. So we can come out with an Eric Stokes, and I think they say I think we had the 61st pick in the second round, if I'm not mistaken. He's around there, right? Like he's kind of going around there in mocks. That's not a bad person because I like speed, right? Like we need speed, especially on the defensive side, because we've seen how the Chiefs just murdered us last year. Speed kills. So I mean, he's a person that I'm kind of looking at, and maybe in the third round, if we can get shore up our D line, try to find like a fast edge rusher. I don't know if I know he went in the first round, but you remember the guy Irving? I can't think of the
from Seattle.
Yeah, from Seattle.
Bruce.
Bruce Irving. But like if we can get like a specialist like that, maybe if we can find a diamond in the rough in like the third round, a specialist who's fast on the edge, maybe only comes in on third down, maybe he only comes in on second down, like something like that. I'm really what I've been hearing from the draft is that edge rusher is really not at a premium in this draft.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
it's not.
It is what it is. But nonetheless,
the first one not going off the board to like, the Jalen Phillips guy. He the first one going off the board. They say he out the top 10, out the top 15. He might drop off top 20. So you never know. So it's not.
And there's the Owe from Penn State too. He's been in a lot of higher edge rushers. But
so let me ask y'all this, because I was leaving work today, and as I was leaving work, my man was like, Yo, we need a running back, dog. Yo, we need a running back. That's the first thing he said. I'm like, bro, I don't know, G. So let me ask y'all this. What players have we been linked to that we just need to stay away from? Like, what, like, is there a player that we like? Listen, we do not need to go down that road. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna go to Matt first. Do you know of a player that we just like a stay away from what everybody else have been saying? We need to get this guy.
Well, actually, Mike wrote about him in his article today. It's a very popular position upgrade that everybody thinks we need. But Pat Fryermuth from Penn State, I hate him. I hate him. Because he was the they're saying he's the focus of Penn State's offense. Well, they didn't have a running back. They didn't have a wide receiver who was worth mentioning. So that's why he's not Mike Gesicki. He's not going to come in and start. I hate him. So I think he's gonna fall. I think he's gonna fall probably to the.
I don't like his name. That's kind of personal.
That's my stay away guy for sure.
But me, I don't want no parts of Najee Harris, even though I think he might be a stud in the league. But he just, what's the best version of him you gonna be? What, Le'Veon Bell? From that's the best. I guess the highest ceiling you can possibly be. I think for him is Le'Veon Bell, or he can be, TJ Yeldon. I don't know. So
yeah.
I don't know what what we would get from him if we would go running back. We will go, I would definitely would prefer ETN over him. But Najee Harris, I'm a fan of him, but I just don't necessarily want to get into that far as just what he gonna be as a pro and what it's gonna take, how many carries he gonna need to be effective, and I don't want to get into that.
I'll say this, just a running back position in total. Like I was listening to certain stats on it. It's just like basically drafting first round running backs is a joke. When you look at it, just even in the last 5-10 years, Saquon got hurt, but Ezekiel Elliott, he got a second contract. He's terrible now. Christian McCaffrey, he got a second contract. He's hurt. But he still, is good, I guess. And I think it was one other running back. Todd Gurley. Obviously, we saw that was a joke.
Leonard Fournette.
And CJ. Well, Leonard Fournette did not get a
second
contract.
Oh, you talking about people who got second contract?
Yeah, I'm talking about people who got second contract. My point is, it's just not like the odds are not in our favor, and I think you can find running back.
Dalvin Cook.
It's not.
Yeah, we're talking running.
Dalvin go in the first round. He might have won the second.
He won the second.
I don't think
he might win the second.
Second or third.
First contract.
He just re-up. Yeah, he just got paid.
He's got it. Okay. But regardless, my point is, I think it's just a position that, it's an abundance of. I personally, and I like what Brandon Bean said. He talked about this. He said, the reality is that our zone blocking scheme was just terrible. Not the scheme, but just the players didn't do it well. And
I think we've been saying that all year.
Yeah, this is not a heavy
that's what I've been saying.
Quote unquote stud draft at the top, but I think that there is value, in the second and mid-tier round. So hopefully, I'm gonna be honest. I want this to be a boring draft for the Bills. Maybe not in the sense of like who we pick. We can like do the mechanics of trading and all that stuff. But as far as the people we pick, I want it to be boring. I want it to be people who it's like, okay, this person's gonna come in, do a job. This is what he's good at. This is what he's coming in, and we're gonna coach him up. That's what personally I want.
That means we're a good team when we start having them boring picks usually. But even just a little pushback on that running back thing, I don't want to get to the point where I think it's more so where you pick them, because if you at 29 and you thinking like I can't pick a running back in the first round, so I'm just not gonna pick them. You know what I mean? Like if somebody would have picked Kamara in the first round, I still think he'd be Alvin Kamara. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you still want to be.
That defeats the purpose of Alvin Kamara, though. That's why he's so great, because he was picked later.
No, he's great.
I'm about to say I don't care if he was picked. If he was picked number 1 and he was great, that'd be just he would just be.
No, but I'm saying, but maybe that high too. But if you at 29, and you say the better value will be at 45, I get it. But he's a great player. He transcended. He gonna help your team. So I think you to be too staunch on that, you could, what I'm saying. But it is gray area there. That's what I'm saying. It's just gray area there. If a player is high on your board, you think he good. Just I'm gonna take him.
Yeah. We got another one right in our own backyard. He'll be probably a mid draft guy, Patterson, right?
Yep.
He could be a steal for any team coming in.
So we'll
and he'll probably be a second or third day guy for sure.
For sure. And we'll see. So let me we're getting ready to get off the show, but let me say this.
Yeah.
We're gonna wager this. Rad, Matt, who was the Bills going to pick first? wherever it's at. Shout out to everybody in the comments right now, by the way. But who is the Bills going to pick first? Matt, you give me a player. Rad, you give me a player.
I'm gonna go with JOK, Jeremiah, Morrow, Carl. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name. His last name from linebacker from Notre Dame. I think we got to go to the linebacker position. Who can also he's an off ball linebacker, right? So he'll be a blitzer too. So I like him there. If he's there, I know he's been going up a last couple of days, so he might not be there.
Right.
I'm gonna go Asante Samuel Jr. I think we trade back and we get a cornerback. I think he'll be best available.
I do believe that we're going to go cornerback, but if we say at 30, I think the kid from Northwestern.
Newsome.
Yeah.
See, I don't think he's. I don't think him 30, or. If
we stay at third, then I would take a Newsome, obviously.
I was gonna say I don't think he'll make it though. I think with Arizona and Vegas being like late in the first round, I think that they'll probably get somebody there.
We'll see. Somebody gonna fall.
Somebody's gonna fall, and I think it's gonna be some acrobatics, meaning that people are going to move up. Like I mean,
well, I think five. They saying five quarterbacks is going. So we don't know. That's going to adjust stuff.
Yeah.
And you never know if somebody even quarterback hungry might go and reach for another one. That's just because they think, you know what I mean. So you just don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that works. How the quarterback dynamic even pan out.
Yeah. So there's that, and then I know we didn't really touch on like what the Patriots and the Jets are probably, or our division, right?
That was the next question. That's the next question. Two next questions coming up. Because I wanted to throw this in there because obviously we're not the only people in our division, but we're running it for now, at least as it stands. Yeah. But Miami is not far away. The Patriots didn't have a terrible season; they just had a terrible quarterback. And the Jets, have a high draft pick. So, Matt, is there a player that they can pick that can kind of switch the tide, turn the tide or something like that? Are you kind of looking at like, I don't want them to go there? Is this a player?
Well, it's inevitable. I don't want them to, but I don't want Justin Fields in our division. Being an Ohio State guy, Justin Fields, he's still coming in with a chip on his shoulder for whatever team he plays for. The Patriots. I think they'll go up to get him. I think they can go up to get him. Yeah. I mean, the Jets, they're gonna get I think they're gonna get a stud regardless, whether it's Zach Wilson or it's Mac Jones. I think it's gonna be Zach Wilson, but that's they're gonna get a stud regardless. But I don't think he's gonna be what's gonna bring them above us now. No, but I don't want to see Justin Fields.
For me, I think it's Miami. I think whoever they get, Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts. Okay. I think it's them two. I think it's them two are the two ones that that's gonna show fits. I think Jamar Chase is a stud. I think everybody been talking about Devin Smith. I think he's gonna be good, but I think Jamar Chase, people forgot what he did for LSU 2 years ago, and I think he a stud. I think Kyle Pitts, they're saying he the next one. He the guy. So I think
him
Kyle
and Gesicki would be crazy.
Yeah, I think him somehow falling to Miami at 6, or if they just go ahead and just draft Jamar Chase, I think either one of those two, I think I'm the two best offensive weapons in a draft, and I think either one is going to give us fits long term.
I hope Atlanta get Kyle Pitts so Miami can't pick him. That would be scary. But I don't care. And Matt, when he said about Justin Fields, every Ohio State quarterback sucks, so I hope they get him. But moving right along. So let me do this real quick. Do you have any late round sleepers? I'm gonna just throw it out there real quick. Matt, I know you was talking about it. Matt, give me one late round sleeper.
Matt got him.
You know what I mean? Give me just one. Give me one.
It's gonna go crazy. It's gonna sound like I'm staying home and all this stuff. But no, another guy he's gonna be a late round sleeper. But Isaiah McDuffie, man. He's a linebacker. He's probably going to go. They're projecting him 5th, 6th round right now. He was, he's an athlete. He was, he was the number 1 running back in New York State for years.
From Bennett, Isaiah McDuffie from Bennett.
Yeah, from Bennett. He plays for Boston College. They produce linebackers, right?
Shout out to the coach. He's still coach. His dad still coach at Bennett.
Yep. Luke Kuechly, you got Matty Milano, so it could be a Boston College linebacker room.
That'd be dope.
He could be.
That'd be dope. I respect it.
And the Bills talked to him twice too. They went to his pro day. They did Zoom calls recently, so I think they're kind of high on him late. He could be.
He got bigger too. He got bigger.
He got way bigger. Yeah, he's like 260.
Yeah, so I'm down with that. That's
big.
Dope.
Yep, he's an
Shout out to
athlete too.
Duffy.
Mhm.
I love that call, Matt. I love it.
Yep.
I honestly love
Yep.
that. I love that call.
Yep.
And let me say this to the fans that's listening out there and people watching the playback. We're gonna produce our own mock draft just for the Bills only. You know what I mean? 1 through 7. We're gonna produce it. We're gonna put it on our Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter, and on the website, overduebillspod.com. Shout out to Mike. He got the article on there right now. Shout out to the Challenger. Mike is the official writer of the Challenger. You know what I'm saying? We're making moves out here. Anybody want us on their radio show, let us know. Hit me up. You know what I mean? Hit our line.
I'm saying?
But listen, let me tell y'all this. Real quickly. We got some merch. We got a little bit of merch. If you need the merch for the draft, hit us up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see the new hats. Shh, you know what I'm saying? It's coming. Listen, we got some things in the works right now. You know, shout out to Hefe. And next show, next Monday, after this weekend's draft, we coming back and we gonna dissect it all. You know what I'm saying? It might be an 18-hour show. I don't know, depending on what the Bills do. But before we get out of here, I just want to ask him a quick question. Rad, who is the best player in the draft?
Who's the best player in the draft? I'm gonna go Jamar Chase. I think he gonna be a stud. I think Jamar Chase the guy. I think he I think Jamar Chase.
Matt?
I gotta go. I'm gonna go with somebody that we didn't mention that I don't want to see in our division either. Devontae Smith, man. He the Heisman. He was Percy Harvin, man. He's Percy Harvin.
We saw that.
I like that.
We saw how it started.
I think we're gonna look back at this draft and that Pitts kid, man. I think he's gonna be better than Travis Kelce. I think Kyle Pitts is gonna be better than Travis Kelce. I know that's saying a lot, but I think he's going to.
That's saying he got to be the best tight end of all time, essentially.
I think he's a generational talent. But that's neither here nor there. We appreciate you tuning in.
When last time a tight end go this early? Never.
Evan Ingram won like top 10.
And that was a shame.
Okay,
that was pretty recently.
Yeah.
Won like it. We go like 9.
I see Kyle Pitts like Kevin Winslow. No, sorry about what he did, but anyways.
The dad, say his dad then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not him.
We out. Listen, we out.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all for tuning in. You know what I'm saying? Pre-draft show. We working out the kinks. Shout out to Wing Kings. Shout out to the new sponsors that's coming on. We gonna put y'all in there. But I think that's all we got, and we end every show with a little bit of that. Hey, 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 hey.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.